Well, hello. Welcome back to Survival Sunday. Hey, that actually worked. Survival Sunday with Johnny Tiger on January 31st, 2021. Apologize for missing Survival Saturday last night. Was actually in the middle of making it when friends called and had to go out for dinner. And yeah, suffice to say, by the time I got back, it was already too late to finish making the video. So I thought, what the heck? Just do Survival Sunday rather than Survival Saturday. I mean, yeah, whatever. As long as it fits, it's going to be okay. We're okay. The world is okay. The world can do without Johnny Tiger for one day. So, I've been thinking about this, and I thought it would be prudent to do an episode where we go back to some basic and rather than showing you some ultra secret ninja assassination techniques, um, I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about the basics of home defense today. Because home defense is something that I believe has been on our mind, a lot of us, every one of us almost, have been on our mind one time or another, but actually, very few people sit down and think about it seriously because when you do, your family, your friends tell you you're paranoid and you start to feel a little bit silly. And when nothing ever happened, and we hope nothing ever happened, we hope that you never have to actually defend yourself or your home. When nothing ever happened, after a few years, you say, well, maybe I am being paranoid. So you let your guard down. You forgot where you put your self-defense, home defense tools. You forgot to keep them in good condition. You forgot to practice and train with them. And then 10 years later, suddenly one night when you least expect it, when you're drunk and you're stoned, or when you're sleepy, or when you're not even home, bam, it hit you. Someone break into your house, and now you are caught flat-footed. Okay, it is okay to be paranoid. It is totally okay to be paranoid if it means that you're always prepared. You don't want to go out of your way to be over prepared because you're going to go through life as a nervous wreck. But it is good to be prepared. Now, if when someone breaks into your home, you're not home, then that's pointless. That's a moot point. There's nothing you can do. Hopefully, you invest in the good security system. That is very important too. If you have doubts about that, I'm not affiliated with Alarm Force, but I'm going to give them a shout out. I used Alarm Force for a while, and it is really cool. Like as soon as your door open or someone comes through the window and disturbs that infrared beam that crisscross your space, it set up the alarm, and there's a very angry, very military sounding person on the suddenly coming on the loudspeaker. This is alarm force. Identify yourself now, and blah blah blah. And then we're going to call the police. That was really cool. I set it off a few times just because I was curious to see if it really worked or not, and it definitely worked. Worked really, really good. What's really cool about Alarm Force too is Alarm Force lets you set two passwords. One is your real password. Okay, let's say uh, 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 chocolate bar. That's your real password. If the alarm gets triggered, you say the password is chocolate bar, and the operator will say, "Okay, thank you, have a good day," and they will get off the line and reset everything. And there's a second password. Let's say password uh, cream puff. When you say cream puff, that's your secondary password. It actually means I am in danger. Send the police now. And the operator will say, okay, thank you, everything's fine. They'll pretend that they're getting off the line, but they still keep the line open so they can hear everything that's going on, just in case you're being threatened, and they immediately send the police. when you give that secondary password. Alarm Force really really cool. It was when I was using it a couple years ago, it was only $40 a month. So if you are really serious about your home defense, invest in a high-end or responsible home security system with camera, with alarm, with a direct line to the police, like that. Okay. But today I'm actually going to talk about home defense tools and stuff like that. And there are 6 points we're going to address today. Now, it is important to note that if it depends on where you live, if you're in the US or Canada or Russia or Taiwan or China, depending on where you are at, it is very important to be up to date on your self-defense, home defense law. Okay? Because here in Canada, for example, if I wake up in the middle of the night and I hear a commotion in my kitchen, and I come into the kitchen and I see, well, I won't see, but okay, let's say, let's say I'm sighted, let's say I'm on my eyesight. Let's say I see someone in my kitchen carrying my microwave out the door, and I immediately grab my big butcher knife and whoa, let them have it right in the back. Now I'm in trouble. Okay, I got to go to court. Most likely, I will end up in jail because my life was not directly being threatened. Stabbing someone in the back because they are carrying out your 72-inch HD TV or taking your computer is not okay. It's not okay in the eye of the law, even though this person come to your house first. I'm not saying I agree with the law. I'm not saying that it's right, but I'm just telling you that's how the law is. If you come into the kitchen and the person is stealing your stuff, even if they're trashing your place, as long as they're not posing an immediate danger to you, grabbing this big knife and sticking it to them is not okay. Okay? Now, it's okay if you grab the knife and say, hold it. Tell them, okay, stay there. I'm going to call the cops. Okay? That's okay. That's okay. But just remember, attacking them before they attack you, attacking them before they threaten you, most likely you will end up in jail. Also, very important to have your camera ready. Everyone has a camera on their phone. Practice, guys, please practice using that camera. Very important nowadays. If you don't have proper footage, it can make something that was actually your right turn into your wrongdoing. You could be in the right, but just because you don't have footage, it can look like you committed murder intentionally. Okay? So make sure to always practice to turn on your camera. Leave a little bit of space on your phone. Don't be a pack rat. Don't fill up your phone. Always leave a little bit of space on your phone. And when you hear suspicious noise, either have your partner standing behind you with the camera on while you investigate, or if you're on your own, have the camera in your offhand, the hand that is not carrying weapon or self-defense tool. Okay, very important. Having a camera also has a very good advantage. I'll tell you guys a recent experience from a friend of mine who, long story short, he had a dispute with some very bad people, and these bad people were going to attack him. And he held up his phone. He wasn't even actually filming, but he looked like he got the camera ready. He looked like he was filming the whole thing. And because of that, it actually made those people very hesitant and they tried their best to make everything look as legal as possible rather than just mob him as a group. Very important, that camera. It's right there on your phone. If you're watching this episode, you most likely have a phone. You most likely have a camera. learn to use it. Now, of course, here in Canada and most of the world, around most of the world, we're not allowed to have guns, or at least it's very hard for us to get license to have guns for home defense. So I'm not going to even cover having guns because that's really kind of exclusive to Americans. So in this episode, we are going to talk about self-defense weapons, tools, uh, almost anyone will have at home. Okay. Item number one, safety. What does it mean, safety? This is very obvious, but I still feel the need to talk about this because we see accidents like that on the news all the time. Okay? It's cool to have your uh, Desert Eagle pistol or shotgun or your ultra sharp katana as a self defense, home defense tool. But you need to always remember who else is going to be in your house. Will they get hurt? Okay? Let's say I hang this karambit on the wall for self-defense. If I hang it at stomach level, chest level, that's great. I can reach it really quickly. But guess who else is going to reach it? Any child, any kid student that come to my place to take lessons. Any kid student going to see this really cool big knife hanging on the wall, they're going to take it off the wall, even if I tell them not to, probably especially if I tell them not to. They're going to take it off the wall and pull it out and then cut themselves wide open. Okay? So make sure whatever you choose to be your self-defense tool for home, keep it out of the reach of people that can hurt themselves, preferably out of the reach of anybody but you and those who might use it for protection, like your partner uh, and and your parents, people who can be responsible. But you want to keep it out of reach, so you don't want to keep it just hanging on the wall where any child can get it. You don't want to just leave it sitting on the bedside table. You don't want to just leave it sitting on the dresser or on the cabinet, okay? Because here is something very important to keep this in mind. If you keep this where anyone, including a child, can get it, a home intruder can get it too. When he come in, maybe he use a brick or a hammer to smash your window. And then he come in and see this big honking karambit sitting on your bedside table. Well, you just provided him with a weapon. Good job. Since we're on safety, I also want to caution people because a lot of people do this, and you may say that I am going on into the paranoid level, but please consider when you have your knife, kitchen knife, in the knife block, or I see a lot of people, I do that sometimes myself when I forget. Okay, after cooking dinner and washing my knife, I think I'm going to use this knife again for dinner. So I just wipe it and then lay it down on the counter. Okay? Don't do that. Please don't do that. Again, someone break into your place or someone, let's say you and your good friend are drinking at home and then you get into a fierce argument and there's a big hunky knife laying right here on the counter. Okay? Tragedy waiting to happen. Okay? Anyone breaking into your house, they see that you get into a fight. Let's say in the beginning the fight is only physical, and because you are super cool, you are you are like Mike Tyson and Muhammad Ali rolled into one. You got Bruce Lee's blood and you got Jet Li's moves. You got Jackie Chan's agility. Okay, you are the most badass person in the world. Okay, so you go after the intruder with your karate move, with your judo move, with your Brazilian jiu-jitsu move, and then, just as you get a hold of them, the attacker turns their head. Whoa, there's a knife block on the counter and a lot of butcher knife sticking out of it. They grab it and let you have it right there. Okay, and guess what? Afterward, they might even be able to claim self-defense because you were kicking their butt. Okay, they might still have to go to jail, but they can still try to claim self-defense if they shank you with a knife they grab off the counter. Your knife, your counter. Okay, they can even say you were reaching for the knife first. After all, if you don't have any picture, any footage, who knows, right? So please do not leave your big kitchen knife, small kitchen knife just there on the counter where any home intruder can see them. That's safety. Another thing about safety is when you have your self-defense home defense tool, do not put it somewhere that is so obvious, that's so easy to access, but it's going to hurt you. For example, if I want to take this knife and said, let's say I said I worry about someone attacking me in my bedroom. So I'm going to take this knife and keep it in the bedroom as a home defense. I do not want to have this under my pillow, okay? I know it sounds like a good idea. A lot of people do that. But please don't sleep with a knife under your pillow because one day, someday, either you or your partner or some one night stand you bring home is going to, in the throe of passion or just waking up, reach under and impale their hand on the knife. Okay? Or they're going to roll over the wrong way and gash themselves open on the blade. Okay? If you want to have a knife in your bedroom, tuck it under the mattress on your side of the bed, or take an empty Kleenex box, paper towel tube, put it in there, and have it by the headboard of your bed, where it's not going to cut anyone by accident, but you always know it's there. Second, second point, communication. You need to let if obviously this doesn't apply if you live on your own, but there's something we need to say about that too. But let's say you live with a partner, you need to let them know where you have self-defense tool strategically placed around the house because unless you are there, they need to know too. Right? It's silly to have them hide some of theirs there where they know, and you hide some of yours where you know, and then you stumble across each other's self-defense tools all the time. Okay? Sit down, have that conversation. Hey dear, what if someone come in while we're eating dinner, like someone breaking in while we're eating dinner? What if we're watching TV in the other room? What if we're in the bathroom? Okay? Where is the nearest self-defense tool? Do you know where it is? Do I know where it is? Is it a good idea to keep it there? Do we feel good having it there? Okay, have that conversation, have that communication. Now, if you live on your own, then this goes the other way. We need you to have no communication. Okay, do not go out of your way to tell your friend, hey, look, I keep this under my pillow, or I keep this under my mattress, and I keep this behind the towel in the bathroom. Okay, don't brag about it because you never know. If your friend is going to tell their relatives are going to tell their friend's going to tell another friend who just happened to be a drug addict, who just happened to going to be thinking, well, he got all these weapons in his house, I just break in and steal them and I can pawn them. That's good money right there. And guess what? I already know where they are. There's one behind the towel, there's one under the mattress, and there's one in the Kleenex box by the bed. Cool. Right? I actually had I had someone who came into my place and stolen a bunch of weapons before. It's a little bit messy to sort that out with the police. So protect yourself. If you are the only person living here, you should be the only person who know where all the secret weapons are. Number three, what to use for home defense. This is very important because this is different from self-defense when you go out. Okay? When I go outside, I'm going to carry the kind of self-defense tool that is small enough to not be awkward on my person. Unless I'm going into the mountain, unless I'm going camping, then I'm going to carry something big. But if I'm just going to work, going to the gym, going to teach, I'm going to carry something small enough that's going to be quick access, easy to carry, and not publicly awkward, like a tactical pen or a small pocket-sized knife of some kind. When you're at home, you don't want to end up relying on something like that, okay? Because almost certainly the person who break into your house already have a tool on them. Might not be a weapon, but might be a hammer, might be a screwdriver, might be a crowbar. Okay? You do not want to come into the kitchen armed with nothing but a tactical pen. When someone break into your house, that's not an even contest. You're going to get killed. Okay? So when you are thinking about home defense, you got to think bigger. Something preferably intimidating enough that it's going to stop the fight in its tracks, but something easy enough to maneuver that you're not going to get overpowered easily. Let me show you what. I definitely don't want to rely on something like this. Why not? Because this is a meat cleaver. This is a cleaver. It hardly have a point on it, so I can't really stab with it. It's shaped kind of wacky. The most I can do is chop, chop, chop. That's the only thing I can do with this. Okay? Too small, too limited. This is not even intimidating. You come with someone who's armed with a crowbar with this, they're going to smack it out of your hand. But does that mean that everyone needs to invest in some ultra tactical ninja knife? No. This French chef knife is very perfect for home defense. It's a kitchen knife, it's a French chef knife, but it is perfect. If I have this in my hand while someone busts into my place, even if they got a baseball bat, a crowbar, no problem. I am confident that this is going to scare them a little bit at least. Why? Okay, let's talk about why this knife is good for home defense. It's big enough, it got almost a foot long blade, and because I use it to chop things all the time, I keep it razor sharp and just feel comfortable in my hand because I hold it almost every day. It has a very good point on it in the front, so if I have to lunge at the person, no problem. It has a long, sharp edge, so if I have to slash or chop or block, no problem. It's nice and thick in the back. I can block a lot of incoming strike with it. It has a nice solid finger guard, so there's no way my hand is going to slide onto the blade even when there's impact. I can even switch it around and hold it in commando grip and use my fighting knife technique with this. Okay? It's solid, it's heavy, but not so heavy that it's going to use too much energy, and it's intimidating. It's a big honking chef knife. No problem. Something like this for home defense. Okay? Now, if we're going a little bit more tactical, then the uh, cold steel tiger karambit like this, okay, definitely too big to carry outside, but for home defense, no problem. That's like a 7-inch blade, karambit style, razor sharp, totally made for one purpose, which is fighting. Okay, if I hear a noise in the kitchen, I come in armed with this. I feel very secure with this, especially because I know how to use it. Okay, and this look just threatening enough that the person won't think about just rushing me and take me down. What you don't want to do, unless you are really well trained, unless you have a really big house, but most likely what you don't want to do is get some 40-inch katana or broadsword, or a lot of people are going to think a big axe like this is good for home defense. I did not get this for home defense, for your information. I got this for work, for as a work tool to uh, use as a hammer, a sledgehammer, and to chop stuff like in the yard and stuff like that. Okay, I would never use this for home defense unless we're in the zombie apocalypse. Okay, why is this or a big sword bad for home defense? Because you need room to swing. You need room to maneuver. Okay, if someone get in close to you, suddenly you're found out. You can't defend yourself if it's something this big. Okay, and also it takes energy, it takes control, which when you're scared, when the adrenaline is flowing, you might not have as good control, you might not have good form, good energy, you might overswing and expose yourself. Okay, very dangerous. Bigger is not better in this case. You need something smaller, easy to maneuver, but still big enough to be intimidating. We're going to do an episode in the future where I teach you how to properly use a hatchet or an axe like this for fighting. But like I said, unless you're well versed, well trained, this is just not a good idea. Okay? I I see a lot of people. I hate to say this, a lot of women, a lot, especially older ladies, that they say they want to keep a baseball bat for home defense. And I always cringe when I hear that because it's just such a bad idea unless you have super good athletic ability, unless you are very familiar with swinging a baseball bat. Most likely, when you're scared and the person breaking into your house is really big, you are going to you're going to try to take a swing at them, but you're going to get the bat taken away from you. They're going to overpower you, take your baseball bat away from you, and use it on you. So okay, so don't get something that's too big, too heavy for you to maneuver. Point number four: where? Where do we keep our home defense tool? We already addressed under the mattress. Okay, I want to show you guys one more, but for the most part, you want this to be easy access for you, hard for the other person to see, and doesn't involve opening a lot of stuff. Okay? So, let's say I'm trying to put a home defense tool in the kitchen. Do I want to keep it on top of the cabinet? No. It's easy for me to access. I can just lunge over and grab it, but so can the other person. They come in, they see it up there, they're going to grab it. Okay? Do I want to keep it in the cupboard? Well, probably not. I don't know how many of you watch the Kill Bill movie, and one of the first person the bride went after to assassinate, she kept a gun in the cereal box for her child, in an empty cereal box. That's cool, but if you watch that movie, you see how hard she had to work. She had to convince her killer to, hey, can I give my kid some cereal first? And she had to open the cover, get the cereal out, and then turn and then fire the gun. That was silly because a trained assassin like the bride already knew she got some trick like that going on. Okay? So you do not want to do that. Someone break into your house, you don't want to have to, hey, let me open my drawer so I can grab my crumpet. Okay, now we can start. Doesn't work that way. Okay? So can't put it somewhere too easy to grab, too visible. Can't put it in the drawer. Where do we put it? In this kitchen. We put it between the cushion of the chair and the chair. We stick it in there. Only a little piece of the finger ring pokes out on the side. Okay? So now, if someone was to start an argument with me and try to attack me in the kitchen, if I feel threatened in the kitchen, if someone break into the kitchen, okay, all I have to do is put my hand on the back of the chair, hook the finger ring, and the knife is out. Okay, I'm ready. The person wouldn't even see how it came out, where it came from. Okay, I know I talked about don't let everyone know where you keep your stuff. So yeah, sorry guys, that's not where I keep my home defense tool. I'm just giving you guys an example. Okay, in the bathroom, put it hang it on the door behind the towel, or put it underneath the pile of towels, or get an empty shampoo bottle, get a nightshade or some plastic or ceramic knife, stick it in there so it won't rust, but it's always ready. Okay, think about it. Be creative. Put it somewhere only you know about, your partner know about. Easy to get to without having to open anything. But people who just come into your place won't know. By the way, since we're talking about where, I want to give you guys a quick reminder. Please do not put your house key where people can see it too. Okay? Put your house key either on your person, in your purse, or somewhere. If you got to hang it up in your house, put it somewhere people won't see. Because there has been cases where people break in and they see the house key sitting there. They steal the key and leave. And then, of course, you call the police and all that stuff. And then, just as you let your guard down, they have the key. They come back, open the door when you're not home, and then clean you out. Okay? So, house key, car key, don't put it where people can see them. Number five, practice. It doesn't matter what you use, how you store them. You always need to practice and remind yourself it's there. What does it feel like in my hand? Can I really use it? Okay? Even if you ignore my advice and you do go with an axe or baseball bat, just leaning in a corner where your attacker can see it, even if you ignore all my advice, please make sure you go to that corner once every so often, preferably once several times a week. Learn to grab that baseball bat up and swing and swing and swing and swing 50 times on each side. Okay? So your muscles get used to it, your hands get used to gripping it. You learn to swing it hard without getting out of breath. Whatever you choose to use, please learn to take care of it. Make sure it's not all rusty when you need it. Uh, Make sure you train, practice, okay? You revisit it, okay? Because Sometimes, and this is usually how it goes, you have all this cool home defense stuff ready, but things don't happen until 30 years later. The first 10 years, you practice, you train, you keep them in good condition, and then the 20 years, you maybe do it once every few months, and then by the 30-year mark, you don't even remember you have a knife hidden in that toilet paper roll on top of your dresser. Okay? So always be vigilant, always remember to practice, to handle them, to practice, take them out, to practice uh, using them to make sure they are in good condition, especially if you got a gun or a taser. I used to have a taser, and this is true story. I didn't use it so much, and I got tired, I got lazy about charging it, so I didn't want to mess around with it. So I have it sitting in my pouch, just ready for use, I thought. And then 5 months later, I suddenly remembered, hey, I haven't used my taser for a long time. I should probably take it out and see if it still works. And it didn't work at all. Even if when I charged it, wouldn't charge, wouldn't work. And that kind of freaked me out a little bit. I was thinking, wow, here I was kind of thinking that I was depending my life on this thing. Good thing that I checked it because if I really need it today, someone break into the house, someone attack me, I would be totally unprepared. When I whip this thing out, aimed at a person, and then pull the trigger and nothing happened, it would be so embarrassing. Last but not least, where once you get your self-defense tool and you're ready to call the police, where do you go? Okay, we talked about going to the washroom. That is a good location. But another location is the hallway in your house where the person or people, God forbid, might be three or four of them, can only come at you from one direction or one at a time. Okay? Don't stand here in the kitchen in a wide open space duking it out with them. This is not MMA. This is not competition. Your goal is to get them arrested. Your goal is not to fight them. Okay? Get your weapon, get your phone back into the hallway. This happened to my friend just last week. I'm glad he remembered what I taught him because he had two very aggressive younger guys, both of them like 20 years younger than him, both of them bigger, taller than him, coming at him. And the only reason, well, there are two reasons that they didn't end up messing him up. One was because he faked that he was filming, and the other was he took his tool and stood in the hallway where they couldn't both rush him at the same time. And they knew whoever came at him first would get hurt really bad. So, quick recap. It's been a longer than I thought episode, like a lot of our episodes. Make sure you have a camera. Make sure you work with your camera. Okay. Make sure that you invest in a good alarm security system if that's important to you. But the six basic points: one, safety. Try to make sure be safe with your tools. Don't jeopardize the health of other people, children, pets, just because you want to be able to defend your house. Two, communication. Don't let any outsider know, but make sure people who live here know where these tools are. Third, learn to pick the right tool. Nothing too small, nothing too big. Something that's quick, easy to use, intimidating enough that it's not going to be problematic. 4, make sure you find good, sensible location to put your tools. Not somewhere they can see, not somewhere that you need to open the drawer to get. Okay? Think about it, be creative. Number 5, make sure you train, practice, keep them in good condition. Because if you have to depend your life on them, one day you need them to feel good in your hand and you need them to be in the as best condition as they can be. Number 6, learn to identify a place in your house where you can retreat to while you are holding them at bay with your tool. Thank you for checking out Survival Sunday. We'll be back in a little bit after I eat some dinner for Soul Search Sunday. See you guys in a little while. Ciao.